Russia is planning to create a Ministry of Sex in an attempt to tackle a serious issue. Sounds strange and weird, right? You heard that right. Its falling birth rate. Due to its falling birth rate with an aging population, low birth rates and increasing mortality, Russia is facing a demographic crisis. So the government has decided to take some drastic measures to encourage people to have more babies, and that too very quickly. But what are they actually proposing and why is it happening? Let's dive into this strange and bold plan of Russia. Hi, this is Hani Sharma and you are watching Hindfirst. So why is Russia doing this? So Russia's population is shrinking. In the past decade, the country has seen a steady decline in its population numbers from about 148 million people in 1991. When the Soviet Union collapsed, Russia's population has shrunk to around 145 million. This year, it's expected to fall by another 5 lakh people. The result? A shrinking workforce, economic instability, and social challenges. Russia's government is deeply worried about this trend, so they are doing everything they can to reverse it. But now the question is, what is the Kremlin's plan to address this issue? So to boost birth rates, Russia's government has floated some truly bold and somewhat bizarre ideas. A Ministry of Sex, a brand new government department dedicated to increasing the country's birth rate. This ministry would focus on encouraging people to have children by offering incentives and creating policies to make baby making more attractive. Second is early bedtimes for couples. Now this might sound a little strange to you. So the Kremlin is recommending that couples turn off their internet and lights by 10 p.m. to help them get to work on having more babies. It's part of a larger effort to promote family life and encourage intimacy. The third is pensions for stay-at-home mothers. So they want to pay mothers who choose to stay at home and raise their children instead of working in an office. The goal is to make staying home with the children financially viable. Then fourth is government-funded weddings and dates. And let me tell you, this is again a little weird. So in an even stranger move, Russia's government plans to cover the cost of your wedding night, hotel, and pay for your first date expenses. While first dates are already nerve-wracking, it's hard to imagine the government getting involved in your romantic life. And then, the another move is banning child-free propaganda. But it doesn't stop there. So Russia has also passed a new law banning child-free lifestyles. This law outlaws any kind of promotion of not having children. So this includes online content, media, movies, advertisements, anything that encourages people to live child-free, that is not allowed, not permissible. And let me tell you that if you violate this law, then you may have to face heavy fines. So $4,000 for individuals and up to $50,000 for organizations. This is part of the government's effort to push the message that having children should be the norm and that alternatives should not be promoted. But now, again, there's a serious question that comes up. Why this is happening? Is this a global problem? So Russia's desperation is not unique. This is a part of a larger global trend. Around the world, countries are grappling with falling birth rates and aging populations. And this is a huge problem for economies, as fewer workers means less economic growth. The world's fertility rate, the number of children born to each woman, has been dropping for years. In 2017, the global fertility rate was 2.5 births per woman. By 2021, that number dropped to 2.3, and now it is around 2.1, which is below the replacement rate of 2.2 needed to keep population stable. And this is true in many developed countries, especially in Europe, East Asia, and Russia. So now, what other countries are doing? So countries worldwide are trying their own methods to boost birth rates, but so far few have been successful. South Korea has the world's lowest fertility rate at just 0.72 children per woman. Despite spending more than $270 billion since 2006 on incentives for new mothers, the country has seen little success in reversing the trend. Then comes Japan. Japan has pledged $74 billion to encourage childbirth, but it too continues to struggle with low birth rates. Then comes Taiwan. Taiwan has spent over $3 billion on family incentives with little effect on its fertility rate. Even with all this money, the birth rates are still too low to offset the aging population. So what else are governments doing? So as efforts to bribe or incentivize people to have more children have failed, governments are increasingly turning to more extreme measures. In Singapore, one of the world's lowest fertility rate countries, the government even launched a campaign during the Lunar New Year, urging people to add little dragons to their family, a direct push to have a children within the year. The message was clear: get busy. So in the United States, there's been a tendency to shame what some call childless cat ladies, using negative language to pressure women who choose not to have children. Now, this is just it gets uncomfortable now. Japan has taken this even further by suggesting that women who don't have children by the time they are 30 should consider having their uterus removed. Now, is this fair? And France, if we talk about France, France is considering compulsory fertility tests for women at age 25 to ensure they are making the right choices for the country's future. It's safe to say these tactics are bordering on dystopian. Governments have become so obsessed with controlling birth rates that they are stepping into extremely personal decisions about women's bodies. Now, what is the problem with this tactic? The problem is none of these tactics work. Decades of research have shown that offering money, fertility tests, or imposing laws won't make people want to have more children. If people are pressured into having children or are shamed for not doing so, it often backfires. Instead, people are more likely to have children when they feel they have the freedom to do so. If they have stable jobs, affordable housing, supportive work environments, and access to affordable childcare, they are more likely to make the choice to start or grow a family. So what should governments actually do? So rather than trying to control or shame women, governments need to focus on policies that support families and make it easier to raise children. This means providing affordable housing, make it easier for families to find homes they can afford. Then comes generous maternity and paternity leave. Ensure parents can take time off to take care for the children without financial stress. Then comes affordable childcare. Make childcare accessible and affordable for working parents. And then comes job security. Create job opportunity where parents don't have to choose between their careers and raising children. When these factors are in place, people are much more likely to have children because they can provide a stable environment to raise them. And now let's conclude and summarize the story. So the truth is, pushing people to have children through laws, fines, and propaganda is not going to solve the problem. People make decisions about having children based on a variety of factors, many of which have to do with the practical support rather than government intervention. It's time for governments to focus on policies that actually help families thrive, like affordable housing, better childcare, and work-life balance, rather than trying to control people's personal choices. Only then will birth rates begin to rise. I hope you like the story. Till then, watch Hindfirst.